Hello, children. We have been talking about evolution in our previous videos. Let's continue working with it. When we talk about evolution, and if we don't talk about Charles Darwin, now that is not possible because he's called as the father of evolution, and his theory forms the basis of evolution. The theory which he gave was the survival of the fittest, and this particular theory is the baseline of the evolution. So today we will look into various theories which has come before the Charles Darwin theory, and what does the theory of Charles Darwin say, what are its key points, what are its conclusion, and how it was uh, concluded by Charles Darwin. So let's start working with the theories of evolution. When we say theories of evolution, that is biological evolution, before Charles Darwin, a scientist called as Lamarck, he gave a theory which was called as Lamarckism. And according to Lamarckism, the evolution has happened based on use and disuse of various organs of the body. What does that mean? That he said that in any of the species, a particular organ will evolve more or will develop more if that particular organ is used more by that organism. That means, like he gave an example, like in case of human beings. In case of human beings, the human tail was not used by the human organisms a lot. So gradually within millions of years, the size of the tail might have decreased, and today when we talk about Homo sapiens sapiens, they do not have a tail. They do have a tailbone, but they do not have a tail because they have not they were not using it for a constructive purpose, like the ancestors were not using it, so gradually it decreased and now it is not even present. Similar idea he gave about for the long neck of giraffe. What he said was that originally the size of the giraffe, the neck of the giraffe was very small. Now when the giraffe has to consume a food, consume leaf which were which were present at a little higher, so higher level, so it has to stretch its neck. So because of this continuous stretching of its neck, today the neck of the giraffe is quite tall, is quite long. That was the reason he gave for the long neck of giraffe. And he especially mentioned that in Africa the giraffe have long neck because in Africa the foliage or the leaf is present at a little height, so the giraffe has to stretch its neck constantly, and in African continent the giraffe is having a long neck. His theory is based on the concept of the inner need, development by the inner need of the organism. But his theory didn't had any kind of concrete scientific proof behind it, and his theory was not accepted. The theory which is accepted and even prevalent today is Darwin's theory, given by Charles Darwin. And his theory is survival of the fittest. Now, before the theory was given a name, certain conclusions, or you can say that certain observations which the Darwin explained. First observation he said was that there is varying degree of similarities between existing life forms and old life forms, meaning that certain life organisms, living organisms which were present millions years of before, and if you compare them and if you compare the organisms which are present today, both the organisms do share, not at a very higher level, but at a smaller level, they will have some or the other similarities. Here we can have an example of crocodiles. Now crocodiles, they are considered as the successors of dinosaurs. Now I am not saying that the crocodile looks like a dinosaur. But yes, if you just see it, the snot of the crocodile or the tail of the crocodile, they are having little bit similarity with some of the dinosaurs. Not very much, but if you could talk about 0.001% kind of similarities. So this point which Darwin gave is relevant. Next one, because of gradual evolution, new forms arise in different era. Evolution is a continuous process that we know. It was there, it is there, and it will be there. Now, because of this evolution, at different time periods, various organisms originated. Various different new types of organisms originated from the existing organisms. You can even include human beings also, because in the starting of the earth we were not present. We have come into earth during the time of evolution. So at certain time, at certain eras, new life forms originated, and later on they kept on evolving in their own line, and they have developed in long time scale of the evolution. Next observation, every population have a built-in variation in characteristics which enabled an individual or population to survive adverse natural condition. Now this particular point is very important when we talk about the survival of the fittest. What Darwin says is that if you consider a population, or if you consider a species, in population or in species, there will be certain number of individuals which will have some different type of characters which will be different from the other members of that population which is present. And these variations which is present in these individuals will give these individuals a ace over other individuals of a population, or if these variations are present in a population, it will give ace to a population in comparison to other populations. And this variation will lead or will help that particular population or an individual to survive adverse conditions of the nature. So if an organism is able to adapt, is able to survive adverse condition, it is but natural the organism will be selected by the nature, or the word which we use call is as natural selection by the nature. Nature will select only that organism which will have a capacity to adapt to the changing climate or changing natural condition on the earth. And that particular organism will be the fittest. That is why the theory of the Charles Darwin comes into picture here, that survival of the fittest. Nature is very ruthless. If a organism, if a population, or if a species is the best means it can adapt to the changing climate, it will be selected by the nature, and other species which is not able to adapt, other population which is not able to adapt, gradually that species, that population will perish. This is survival of the fittest. A kind of, now when we say a particular species is the fittest species, so what things that particular species or population should have, let's have a look. Here just before telling that, I just want to explain this particular picture which is there. Just now what I said, there will be variation in a population. Some here example is of moth. Now there will be yellow color moth, other brown color moth. They will be originated from the caterpillars. Some of them they will be multicolored, some of them they will be brownish in color. Now once they are living in the soil, predators will see them. Colored moth will be easily seen by them. Brown color moth will be camouflaging with the soil, so they will be consuming this a lot, and later what will happen, yellow color moth population will decrease and this brown color moth will be increased. So this is a survival of the fittest, a kind of a pictorial representation of the survival of the fittest which we have discussed just now. Now let's continue. When we say that an organism is fit, now why that organism is fit? These are some points on which this thing depends. First one, nature has limited resources. So an organism should be in a position to adjust itself, to adapt itself to the limited resource which is present in the nature. It should not consume excess, it should not consume less, moderate. Whatever is present, it can adjust to it, adapt to it. Second one, stable population size. Now, every year it might happen that whenever the season is there, an organism will reproduce lot and it will have lot many individuals of the same kind of species. But on an average, in a year, the population of that organism should be stable. So that is also needed for the fittest organism. Another one, varying characteristics of the members of a population, and those variations should be inherited. This is also a very important part, that if an organism is having variation in its character, that variation should be present in the genetic code of the organism, so that it can be transferred to the next generation, and thus the evolution should continue. Now these are the 4 points which are needed for a species to be the fittest species. This can be also explained with the help of a diagram, for the help of a photograph. Here you can see 3 colored species are there. One of them, they are brownish color, blue color and a green color. Now once the season comes, their population will increase, but natural. Red color, blue color, green color on the background of the sand can be seen easily by the predators, so they will be consumed. Once they are consumed, the number of brown color species will keep on increasing, and other color species which can be easily seen by the predators, they will reduce down. Then what will happen? Some of the species will start adapting itself. Some of the species might be like brown color ones. They will increase in size and they will increase in number, and they will camouflage themselves with the soil, with the sand there. Whereas other species which are of different color, they will be very clearly visible to the predators. They will consume, and finally there will be only brown color species remaining in that habitat. So here the evolution has happened for the survival. And what is the survival? The color of the species have helped itself to camouflage itself to the sand on which they are present, and they will reproduce more because they are surviving more, and in long run it might happen on this beach only this brown color species will be found. This is survival of the fittest theory given by Charles Darwin. Thank you.